All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Difference. This is a podcast where we highlight leaders who are making a difference in their teams, their stores, and their communities. I'm Drew Holler.
And I'm Alexis Whaley.
Alexis, we have a great guest coming on today, a store manager down in Texas. And it sounds like he's been through some ups and downs in his career and be able to show all different degrees of leadership. And I know you've talked to him a few times, but you want to introduce to everyone?
Yeah, definitely. So his name is Rolondo Hernandez, and he's from store 4526 in Houston, Texas. And much like you said, he has experience with hurricanes, the most recent snowstorm. He's definitely not shy when it comes to perseverance, grit, showing servant leadership, and really showing up for his team.
I can't wait to get him on.
Yeah.
What's interesting to me is we're at a year's mark with COVID. And, I think everybody who's listening has faced challenges of different degrees and be interesting to see his. But also for you set up the first testing sites. We were just talking about that. The first testing sites for COVID a little less than a year ago. And it's amazing that we're starting that. And how do you reflect kind of on that experience?
Yeah. I remember getting a phone call from my VP, Andy Trainer, and my senior director, Heather Durchie, and they were like, hey, we've got this opportunity. We need some learning folks to go out and kind of help create some training materials for our associates who are going to start, helping test the public. And it was such an incredible experience. I was in Chicago. It was very cold. I am not used to the cold. And so that was quite an experience on its own. We were outside in a parking lot for around 2 or 3 days for about 8 to 10 hours, running through what that process would look like. And from the learning side, really just trying to figure out how can we make this more efficient and effective for people as they continue to do this throughout however many months it would, take after that to really make a difference and test a lot of people. And so Casey and I, she was a designer with me, and we just went out and kind of tackled that. So it was incredible. And it's weird to think that it's been a year since we've done that.
Testing back, it was like foreign concept, and now it's like old hat. Stores do it all the time. And then we just got vaccines. So vaccines are coming to our stores. We just announced this is being recorded on the 2nd, but we just announced that we're going to do vaccines across the store for associates who are eligible. So just encourage everybody who gets the opportunity to take the vaccine and protect yourself and protect your family. And, we're looking forward to playing that role across the country as well as we help vaccinate the public. But anyways, it's been a fast and crazy year for all of us, including you. But it's going to be good. So anyways, we'll get Rolondo on, and we'll get started and hear his story.
Sounds great.
One of the things we wanted to talk through is obviously you had the storm not that long ago, which was, I heard like once every 120 years that this has happened in Texas. We happen to be the ones that were living through it. You guys were. So what was that like? And how did you guys respond as a team? And we'll kind of walk through it. But I guess to start off, when that storm was coming and you knew it was coming, probably didn't know how bad it was going to be. What was the mindset? Where was the team? And then kind of walk us through that process.
Well, before the storm's coming, it's all about, customer traffic, sales, getting anything and everything out that we can, ordering up on certain things, things that, the customer is going to be looking for: water, the basics, bread, eggs, milk, dry groceries, any kind of comfort food. If you're going to be in the house for a while, it's really strange. It seems like everything seems to go. Since the pandemic, there are some things that, we're limited on what we can order and things like that. So it's kind of hard to be able to go out and order up on ramen noodles in the soup category, because you might get it, you might not get it. So just trying to get out in front of the customer to get them the things they need if they are going to be trapped indoors for a few days. So I started seeing things like Metro was going to start shutting down. That's kind of when everything brought it to light for me, because there's a Metro rail right behind the building that brings a good majority of my associates to work day in and day out. So
yeah,
I knew that when that storm hit and Monday they were going to be shutting the Metro down, when they start announcing those things, that's when it starts to become a reality for me. And how do I, how am I going to supplement? What am I going to do to half of my staffing is not going to be in the building? So then it's making phone calls to the market manager. Hey, this is what's happening. I may only be able to open up one door, throughout most of the day, and I may have to meter people in. We talked about some of those things on conference calls and things like that before everything really started to hit. And then, but I mean,
what were some of the leadership? So you're as you're going into this, you're probably having conversation with associates, right? You're caring for their safety. You're caring for customer safety. You also have a business to run.
Right.
What are some of those leadership principles that you used in those first few days, you think?
Well, so like for Monday, for instance, when I got here in the building, before I'd actually gotten here in the building, I was already up to like 75 or 80 call-ins. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to open the doors right away. I knew I was going to have to get, 10 to 20 people in the building, open up some registers. And my thought process was I'll have the grocery doors open and I'll meter in people 10 at a time. I'll ask them to take 20. I was doing this when we actually did finally open. I'd go out there and I'd talk to the customers. Hey, I'm limited on these key items. Please limit yourself to one. Can you, let's please keep our shopping experience to 20 minutes so I can get everybody in and out of the building as quickly and orderly as possible. I have plenty of registers open. And there were some upset customers. Why are we having to wait outside? It's for the protection of my associates. I have limited associates in the building. And things like that.
Wow.
But, seeing all the call-ins and stuff, I was actually touring the store, making sure that, everything was right. And right around 6:05, the building just went dark. And I was like, oh, man.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, and the building, this building, the power goes out regularly. There was a time last November where I had 9 power outages within a 14-day span.
Man, so you and your team are very used to this.
Yes, they are absolutely awesome. So, we have our refrigeration kit already set up. We've got brake pack boxes of plastic to cover all the refrigeration. We use brake pack boxes, flatten them out to put them over the bunkers to keep refrigeration locked in. So most of that is done within 20 minutes of the power going out. The food team knows what to do. I didn't really have that many food team members here that day. So I had like 2 members from the food side, and I still had some overnight people here, and I had them stay and help me, get all of that stuff done. And usually what I'll do is I'll start calling EOC and start making the appropriate phone calls to my market team and all of that. And then whatever manager's here, I have them call the power company to get an ETA on, how long it's going to take to get the power back on. And most power outages will last 2 to 3 hours. Very rarely do they last longer than that in this facility. So covering up the refrigeration and just monitoring it each 30 or 40 minutes to make sure that we're not, getting to that danger zone. We usually never reach that point, so we don't have to pull any product. So when I couldn't get a hold of anyone at the power company, and I even text my wife, I'm like, hey, can you reach out, see if you see anything on the news, see if you see anything through the media while I'm making all the calls that I need to make. And she texts me back like 20 minutes later, there's no ETA on getting power back. It could be tomorrow, It could be 2 days. So then those phone calls become very different. It's okay, now I need a reefer trailer. Now I need this. Now I need that. I started immediately calling and contacting who I needed to contact to get a reefer trailer out here. And I formulated a plan. I started calling people probably about 20 minutes after the power went out. I was able to get about 10 associates that live close to the store to come in and help me. So what I did, and I was actually talking to associates beforehand, hey, who would be willing to come in tomorrow if, need be. And I already had those names and numbers. So I just sent out a mass text. Hey, if you're getting this, I really need some assistance. It's just me and 3 people in the building. We just lost power. I need help pulling product. And I started getting texts back, be there in 10 minutes, be there in 20 minutes. It's going to take me a little longer to get there. I'm driving and, the roads are kind of bad, those types of things. And so I just formulated a plan. I'm going to pull all of my frozen merchandise and I'm going to put all of that onto the reefer, and I'm going to pull all of my refrigerated merchandise and I'm going to put it in the freezer. And I really didn't lose any product the whole, basically 3 days that we were down with power.
Yeah, one of the things, and we talked to a store manager a few weeks ago, Patrice in Chicago, around crisis. When crisis, things happen, it kind of brings out, the best and worst in people as well. But it's that raw leadership that really comes through. And you get to really see the probably purest and rawest form of leadership in those type of situations. So, like for you as a leader, what's your approach? How do you kind of go at those type of situations? Because you've been involved this one, we'll get into in a little bit, but hurricanes as well. You've done all kinds of things. But what's your leadership philosophy in moments of crisis, and how do you lead that team through it?
Well, first, the biggest thing is everybody's got stuff going on outside of work. There were people that were here with me that Monday morning, and every day following that didn't have power and had already lost water and things like that. So, trying to make it as fun for them as possible while we're here in the building, having to do all the things that we're having done, cutting up with them and things like that. Really just being that example, being here with them when they're going through everything that they're going through, and helping them out in any way you can, whether it be, I think starting the following day, we started actually, grilling for the associates for them to get a hot meal because they didn't have any power at home to cook anything. We had some associates that, were asking, hey, I need diapers for my kids. Okay, well, here, grab diapers, take a picture of the barcode and send it to me. And then, having them either come back and pay for it, when the power came back on, or in some cases, there were some issues where we had a team lead up front that, her and her kids hadn't eaten in 2 days. And, as we're trying to reach out to everybody to get them in, we're starting to hear these things. And I'm like, hey, look, can you safely make it up here? Well, I'm going to try. I don't know if I can. Well, if you can't, call me and tell me you can't. And then I had my people lead and my front end coach. We went and pulled, some things, some snacks and some juices and things like that for her and her kids to be able to eat. And we were going to deliver it to them. I was either going to jump in my pickup truck, or I was going to have the coach, the front end coach, get in his pickup truck. And we were going to take those necessities that they needed because they had lost everything in their refrigerator because their power had been out for 2 days. So just letting them know that you're there for them to help them as much as you can, but also being here with them.
It made me start thinking, how are you empowering folks in your stores to kind of also overcome maybe some of those high stress situations, whether it's with customers or fellow associates? People handle stress very differently. And I can only imagine how big of a challenge it is to help push your team in a positive direction. And so, what is that like? How do you empower your associates to keep kind of pushing forward?
When you're going through those situations, for me, the best thing is to be there for your people when they need you. And a lot of the times they'll be there for you when you need them. Taking care of them and they'll take care of you. You take care of them, they'll take care of your customers. Those things do carry a lot of weight. And, I will tell you that when Hurricane Harvey hit, we were told to shut the stores down on like a Sunday evening or something like that. And we got everybody out of the building and shut the store down. And we weren't able to open the doors back up until Wednesday morning. So we were shut down. We shut down Sunday evening and we were shut down Monday and Tuesday. And it wasn't because there was damage to the store or the lights were out or any of that. It was because all around the store had flooded. Yeah. And no one lived in the vicinity to manager wise to be able to get to the store I tried every route on Monday. I tried every route on Tuesday that I could think of. And it was Wednesday morning when I finally made it in. And I got there probably around 5:30 in the morning, and I just sent out, I'd been in that store for probably 4 or 5 years already. And that team, management team, even hourly team, we had been through some major ups and downs in that building. First store I ever ran as a store manager, so I made a lot of mistakes, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But being humble enough to talk to them, ask them questions, learn from them, teach them, all of those things. But when you send out a mass text to associates and then they start texting all the other associates, and your market manager texts you at like 8:30, hey, is anybody going to be able to open up this morning? And instead of just answering yes, I was actually in the middle of meeting with all of those associates at my service desk. And I had probably 80 or 85 associates in the building. And I took like the biggest selfie I possibly could. And I sent that to my market manager and I said, yes, we're opening in 15 minutes. I said, I will have every register open and we're going to meter people in through the grocery entrance. And I said, we are going to get some sales. And talk about having some fun. That was probably the funnest time as a store manager I had. And I know that sounds crazy, but those 4 or 5 days, 6 days after that event, and just being able to, come in and push the team and work with the team and, do all of those things. I had so much fun. No one's going to care about the store more than the associates that it's their Walmart store.
That's right.
So that for me is probably the biggest thing. Take care of your people so they'll take care of you and when you need them the most.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Well, thanks for your time. And I know you got a lot going on, but you had some great points that I think people will get a lot out of. And so I appreciate it. If there's anything that we can ever do for you, make sure you reach out and talk to us.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
It was great to see you again.
All right, Alexis, that was a great conversations with Rolondo. I had 2 kind of notes. One was in the middle of crisis, communication and transparency is so important. How you communicate to your team and being transparent of the challenges that you're facing and what the team as a whole needs to overcome, I thought was really good.
Yeah.
And then the second note is kind of on the same track, but how do you adapt and overcome? And I think your job as a leader, because there's going to be something different every day, every week, every year, that gives us different opportunities. And our job is to adapt and overcome with our teams. And I thought that came through loud and clear.
For me, I know we talk a lot about leadership mindset, wanting to kind of really develop our folks into, the next generation of leaders and what does that look like. And sometimes I think when we hear the word leader, we think of one person or we think of one, individual that's kind of leading that path. And something I really enjoyed about this conversation was also talking about a team mindset. Can't do a whole lot by yourself, but you can accomplish a lot of things with a team. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I hope you have a great week and you took some things away and you go out there and you make a difference in somebody's life. And we'll talk to you next week. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.